Hey everybody, Vince here. Happy Hump Day. It is Wednesday, and I just want to share a few tips on how to become a really good 5-star driver and earn yourself some tips, some do's, some don'ts. It's not real hard, it's pretty basic actually, and it's just knowing how to read people. I go out driving almost every day, and that's an important thing to do to keep your momentum going in whatever gig you're doing, whether it's Via or Uber or Lyft, is to keep your momentum going and show your availability on the platform. I believe that the more availability we show, the higher likelihood we have of receiving the good rides from the platforms, even though they typically will tell us that they're giving the rides to the closest driver only, and that's not necessarily true. I have seen where I have been sitting right next to somebody and they're on their phone and they're obviously placing an order for their ride, and another driver shows up to pick them up. And I also have had the experience, and I will actually check and see if I still have the footage on my dash cam from a while back where I had a ride in my vehicle who had ordered the incorrect level of UberEATS or LiftX or whichever platform it was, and they had more than 4 passengers. And I let them know that the insurance only covered up to 4 passengers, and they understood right away and canceled the ride and re-requested it. Unfortunately, they did not get me on the first, second, third, even fourth time that they canceled the ride. And I'm just going to show those first minute or two of the ride to show, hopefully, both platforms that happens to us drivers. When we have to ask a rider to cancel and re-request, we don't necessarily get the ride again from those passengers. And I have had the unfortunate experience of having riders go with another driver because that's who got the ride. Now, they didn't realize that they could take advantage of that 5-minute cancellation period where they're not going to have a fee applied to their account. And for fear of that cancellation fee, they would leave the vehicle and wait for the next driver to come in and pick them up. Now, learn how to read people. When someone enters your vehicle, call them by name. Verify who they are. Ask them how they're doing today. And get a feel for how they are. Are they talkative? Do they look down at their phone right away or look out the window right away? Those 2 signs are pretty good indicators that they really are not interested in having a conversational ride. They want to be left alone. They want to do their thing, and that's fantastic. They're paying for the ride. No problem. I will get them safely from point A to point B. And I must put an emphasis on safely. I have been putting together short clips from my dash cam of drivers that are not driving very safely. They're blowing red lights, they're blowing stop signs, they're cutting people off. Just things that are giving us a bad name as rideshare drivers. Now, please remember what we do as a driver, how we act on the road reflects on the entire rideshare community in other people's eyes. And I hear nightmare stories from some of my riders, of riders driving dangerously while they're in the car. And I asked them, did you give that driver a 1-star rating? Did you call and report that driver? And almost always the answer is no. They did not give them a 1-star rating. They did not call and report them. They gave them a 5-star rating. Riders, please, if you do not appreciate a way a driver is driving, you can guarantee yourself that you will not be paired up with that driver again by giving them a 1 or a 2-star rating. You will also help potentially to get that driver off the road if their rating goes down too far. Their account will be suspended. They will have to retake training of some kind to learn good behaviors on the road, good behaviors with their passengers. So please, rate appropriately. For those of us that are driving safe, that are reading your behavior appropriately, and know whether or not you want us to interact with you, please give us the 5 stars. And please rate us so that we do keep our good ratings. If people only do a rating when it's bad, you're going to hurt good drivers. If you think that we were too long getting to pick you up, it's not usually a driver's fault. And I'm going to emphasize the word usually in that sentence. If it takes us a little bit of time to get to your pickup spot, because I'm a 5-star rated driver, I quite often am given my next ride while I'm still on a ride. And usually people are understanding and they realize, and I don't really use the Rider app, but I believe you get a notification informing you that I'm on a ride already, and you will be my next pickup once that ride is over. So please take that into consideration when you are rating somebody. I'm going to share one experience that I had on an XL ride, because the map is not always accurate on either Uber or Lyft platform. Sometimes it's going to show we're not moving or haven't moved in a while when we really are. I had an XL ride where I arrived, I parked, had my flashers on, I was waiting for my party to come downstairs, and I even sent them a text message through the app saying, hey, I've arrived. Well, 5 minutes, and maybe I'm too generous in how I do things sometimes, because I don't necessarily always take advantage of that 5-minute cancellation. I give people extra time sometimes, and sometimes it comes back to bite me, which it almost did in this case. Almost 5 minutes into my sitting there waiting, they called me up to ask me where I was. And I told them, I'm out in front of your building, parked here waiting for you for about 5 minutes now. They didn't really want to hear that or believe it, because the app did not show that. It showed I was at a different location on their end. I still waited. A few minutes later, same thing. Hey, where are you? I'm sitting right here in front of you in your building. Come on downstairs. You'll see that I'm here. And a few minutes later, they came down and were like, hey, what took you so long to get here? And I told them, I said, guys, I told you both times that you called me, I was here waiting. I said, no, the app said you weren't. It said you were 5 minutes away still. And we came down to wait for you to get here. I said, and I'm here. As you can see in your app, it shows I'm somewhere over there, but I'm here. Well, even with that evidence in hand, with the app showing I was somewhere else, and an obvious issue, A couple hours later, I was just looking at my profile and I saw a issue reported of navigation to pickup. So I kept driving through the night, and I was going to call when I was done driving to ask about that issue report being on my profile. And fortunately, when the time did come that I was done driving and I was ready to go home, I went to look on my profile one more time, and somebody obviously did their homework because it was gone. They must have seen, hey, this is a bad report. He really was there. He was sitting there, and he did take the most direct route to get there. So sometimes they do right by us, and they do their investigation when there's an issue reported, and if they see that we were in the right, they will correct it. So kudos for that. Next point, have a nice pleasant conversation with your riders that are open to conversation. And ask them, how's your day going? Comment on the weather. Ask them if they're from town. If you're going to a hotel as your destination, ask them where home is. Something. I'm not a real big guy on sports, so I really don't talk about sports, but I'll listen. And I can sometimes ask questions that get people talking and sharing about themselves, which is fantastic. People love to talk about themselves, and it makes the ride go a lot faster when that happens. And it's funny because people will say, wow, you really got me here fast. In my mind, I'm thinking to myself, no, I didn't really get you here any faster than anybody else would. It's just that you had a really good ride. You were entertained with conversation. So it seemed like it was a much shorter ride than it really was. Third point is open doors for people. If you have automatic sliding doors, use those buttons yourself and open the doors yourself before they have a chance to reach for that handle and open it themselves. Also, offer the front seat. Make it a more personable ride. Some people like that, some people don't. Some people prefer the back seat. It's their choice. It's their comfort level. It's their ride. Run with it. And when the ride's over, thank them. Everyone likes to hear a thank you sometimes. And tell them, have a great night, have a great day. Whichever is appropriate. I'm one of those people that I'll say good morning when it's 8 o'clock at night. And I get a funny look and I'll say, hey, it's morning somewhere. And a lot of times that brings a laugh out of people, and it's an icebreaker and a mood breaker. And it lightens the mood a little bit, especially if someone's in a more serious tone. We never know what's going on with people. Now, sometimes it's not that someone's being rude, that they don't want to talk. Maybe they just are having a bad day or a hard day. And best thing to do is leave them alone and let them have that hard day. But if they suddenly want to talk about something, listen. Be a good listener. So, that's all I've got for today. Again, happy Hump Day. If you like my content, please use that subscribe button down there and help me out in growing my channel. Like the video, share it, add some comments. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Thanks.